Hello, my name is Kaylin, and I'm going to be talking about Carl Jung. So, just a little bit about him. He was born July 26, 1875, in Switzerland, and at a very young age, he was separated from his mother, and he stated that that was very, very, very troubling to him. And he was also brought up in a very spiritual and religious manner, and this was reflected in his beliefs and theories later in his life. School also became very boring to him in his later years, and he actually suffered severe neurosis at age 12 because of this. And when he was attending university, he was developing his concept of psychological types. He drew from both Eastern and Western cultural connections and felt that there was a connection between psychology and religion and spirituality, and he felt very strongly about this. And unfortunately, he passed away in 1961, still in Switzerland. So there are many archetypes that are innate, universal, and hereditary, and these are unlearned and function to organize how we experience certain things. The human mind retains fundamental unconscious biological aspects of our ancestors, and Jung actually identified four main archetypes and stated that there was no limit to the number that may exist, however. The four main archetypes are the persona, the shadow, the anima/animus, and the self. And he also listed other archetypes as being the father, which is an authority figure, the mother being nurturing, the child representing rebirth and salvation, the hero being a champion or a defender, and the trickster being a liar or a troublemaker. The persona is how we present ourselves to the world, and persona is actually a Latin term meaning mask. And our persona represents all of the different social masks that we wear among various groups and situations. And children learn that they have to behave in certain ways in order to fit in with society, hence the mask. This is where we contain our primitive urges, impulses, and emotions that are not considered to be socially acceptable, and the persona can appear in dreams in many different forms. The shadow consists of our sex life and instincts, and this is part of the unconscious mind and composed of repressed ideas, weakness, desires, instincts, and shortcomings. The shadow contains all of the things that are unacceptable not only to society, but also to one personal morals and values. So things like envy, greed, prejudice, hate, and aggression. And the shadow can appear in dreams such as a snake, demon, or another dark figure. The anima or animus. The anima is just the feminine image in the male psyche, and the animus is the male image in the female psyche. Both of these represent our true self rather than our projected image. They also hold our sex roles and gender identity. And Jung suggested that this discouragement of men exploring their feminine aspects and women exploring their masculine aspects serve to undermine psychological development. The self represents the unified unconsciousness and consciousness of an individual. Jung often represented the self as a circle, square, or mandala, and again, he was very spiritual, so the way he represented things is quite important. He also believed that there was a disharmony between the unconscious and conscious mind. It may lead to psychological problems. And he also identified two different centers of personality, those being the ego, which makes up the center of consciousness, and that personality encompasses not only the conscious mind, but also the ego and the unconscious mind. Jung's personality types are thinking versus feeling and sensing versus intuition. There are four functions described in ways which we orient ourselves to the external environment, given our basic tendency towards introversion or extroversion. This theory was expanded on by Myers and Briggs. They made the Myers-Briggs type indicator to help people learn their personality type. And in conclusion, Jung was a pioneer of theory of personality, and he was one of the first psychologists to actually connect spirituality with the field.